Hi folks, welcome back to Euro Truck Simulator 2 and the continuation of my journey in the Kenworth K100, hauling some unusual, slightly oversized machinery to Glasgow. Join me as I'm just about to drop into the garage here to change my chassis because there's a bit of an issue with loading on the front axles and it's proving slightly difficult to steer. So I'm going to pop into the garage here and try out another chassis, see if that improves things. Loads 32 tons, so bear that in mind. Anyway, without further ado, enjoy the rest of the show. I think that chassis will be ever so slightly better, because if you look, Kingpin is slightly in front of the line of the axle. There should be a little bit more weight on here compared to the other one. I think the back wheels are taking all the weight in the front. Right, nothing like challenge, is there? So I'm going to try... Actually, no. I'm just going to swing right round. I think I should have space in this yard. Oh, this is quite a cool driving position. You know, it's a shame you can't go spin the camera around up and look out the top windows. I mean, I know you can go on top of the cab. It's very, very weird, though. Now, the downside is I can't look... Oh, I can, but what happens... Oh, if I centre them back here again. Okay. Anyway, that was quite... we're going that way. Oh, let's try a bit more. Oh, no. Sorry, my mouse is falling around. Oh, I don't want to crash. Oh, God, there's nobody coming. Please be nobody coming. Oh, there we go, immediately right. Cheers, Mr. Coach, busman, person. Is that wide enough? Please be wide enough. I can't see. I can keep going until I hear a clunk now where I'm going. I literally can't see from this position. Okay, I might come back to that. Is that... It's over there. Off to Hull. Oh yeah, yeah, it feels better. I wouldn't say it's... Whoa, I'm on the wrong side of the road. Shh. Sorry, pal. I looked at him and thought, he's on the wrong side of the road. Oh no, it's me, yeah. It's been a while, a very long time since I've driven in the UK, I think. In fact, the last time was the road to Dole. Go and check that out, where the Dole is a mod that gives you a bridge between Cover and... So I just realised what... God, I'm easily amused. I'm sweating my tits up. Can you say that? Jeez. Bit of fun in here. Oh, was that a car? No. Where am I going now? This is more of a, well, as eventful as I was expecting, but in completely different ways. Yes, a road from Dover, not Cover, to Calais, not Dale. And yes, the fictional place of Dole has been invented in the middle of it, with garage and some bits and bobs and stuff like that. Places to park and things. And yeah, it's totally not legit, because no such road exists. But it's something different, and it's plausible novelty value. I've only driven across it once, and in one direction. I'm hoping to drive back soon. I've still got the mod in. It's because it just puts things into the game. It doesn't modify what's already in the game. It's pretty much compatible with everything, I think. Don't quote me on that, but that's my experience so far. I'm going way too fast, but you know, I'm in a rush. That'll be the Humber Bridge there. Pretty cool. Not been over that in real life for a while. Are you stopping? Yeah, that's totally legit. Thank you, though. Yep, this chassis is definitely better for the heavy loads. This is the first load I've hauled in this. I suspect if you use stock trailers, you know, maybe anything up to certainly 20 tons, I'd have said barely noticeable the lack of weight on the front wheels, but not pleasurable for me. It might be less noticeable, if not noticeable at all, with the stock force feedback, because I have noticed that this mod sort of more significantly models the flex of the tyres. The roads are quiet. I'm on the wrong side of the road again, aren't I? Haha. It's night time again, does it? So it's taking me 24 hours to get across on that ferry. Well, I was kind of hoping to give you a bit of top-notch daylight action. Sorry, my commentary is incredibly disjointed. I do very much apologise. I can't promise you it'll get better, but hey-ho. So, I was waffling. I started waffling about the force feedback plugin, and then hay fever took over, so I hope they've edited that out. Apologies if I haven't. So, I've no idea where I got to with it, but basically you stick the plugin, which is a DIL, in the plugins folder, which is located in your Steam apps. I think it's something like, if it's Steam that is. In my case it's Steam apps, and then I think it's common, and then it might be Euro Truck Simulator, and then it might be bin, as in BIN, as in rubbish bin, and then in there I think is where the Euro Truck executable is, and there should be, I think, a plugins folder, as in a folder called plugins, and that is where you put the mod. Apologies if I'm teaching you to suck eggs, but I'll leave a link in the description below for the SCS forum page where this mod is, and hopefully there's, if I'm pretty sure there are some good installation instructions there which tell you the location of your plugins folder, whether you're on Steam or non-Steam version. And that's where I was now. It's all coming back to me, the issue in terms of getting it to run. So I don't know about this, you might have to look at this. I don't know whether you have to enable plugins within Euro Truck. I think you do. Now whether you do that from within the game, I think you might do. It might be a menu option somewhere, or whether it's a modification of a ini file or what, I'm not sure. But that's hurdle number one. That's an easy hurdle. The second hurdle is getting it to work. Slightly bigger, slightly taller hurdle. Now, if the game's loading plugins, when you double click on your Euro Truck icon, you go through the loading screens, and then you come up with the profile selection page, where you can install mods and stuff. As soon as that page comes on, that screen comes on, if plugins are working, it pops up like a information box. It's basically saying the use of plugins could cause the world to end, or your hat to catch fire and stuff like this. Just click OK, because that's the only option. It's like a little disclaimer. That indicates that the plugin's working. Now the problem I had was, as soon as I click OK, the game freezes for a minute or two, and then crashes. I think as part of the Xbox 360 controller, and possibly other controllers, it installs a little bit of a program which a lot of people refer to as VJoy. Now I've never installed VJoy. Can't see anything on my computer that says VJoy or anything like this, which is something to do with virtual joysticks. But what I did to make it work was, point one, I've not got the Xbox 360 controller in, plugged into the computer. Point two, I went into Task Manager, and under the Process tab, there was something relating to the Xbox, something about Xbox stats or something like that. I right-clicked on that and ended that process to get that out of the way, because I'm not using the Xbox controller currently, and I think it reloads, excuse me, it loads up when you plug the Xbox controller in. And obviously if you restart your computer, which I avoid like the plague for different reasons. So yeah, just to be clear, to stop that process, so I removed anything I could see that was running to do with the Xbox controller. Still wouldn't work. So basically I opened up Device Manager, and I think it might be on the human input bit tab. It's the tab where it's the same tab as the G27 resides in, actually. So if you can see your G27 in that tab, you're in the right place. Unless you haven't got a G27, in which case you won't see it. So, but this is a customised experience for the G27. So, anyway, on that I've got loads of various devices and stuff installed, and there was one, I think it was V input X or VX input, something like that, had a V in it. I think it possibly had an X in it, and it was at the bottom of my list, and it looked like a virtual input type thing. There were two of them on the tab, but I right-clicked on the first one and disabled it. They both disappeared, and then it worked. There's also you need some of the Microsoft Visual Studio Code program installing, but the chances are you may already have that on your computer. But make sure you follow the installation instructions, and you can't go wrong on that front. So yeah, I'm running that. Like I say, it takes quite a bit of tweaking. It's important to note, I suppose, as well. Oh, that was the other thing that seemed to stop it from working. In fact, actually, the first thing, the direct input, the virtual input, virtual joystick, stuff like that, that issue made the game crash, okay, when it came up with the box on the sort of first screen. So that solved that problem. It would now load the plugin and I could load the game. However, it still wouldn't work. Now there's two things. One you should do as part of the installation is turn off any force feedback settings within EuroTruck, i.e. there's just one tick box. Don't turn down all the sliders, you can leave those as is. There's a tick box that probably says something like enable force feedback. Just turn that off so it takes it out of EuroTruck's hands then. Still wouldn't work. Still just, you know, stock G27 as I'm sat in desktop. I actually had to close the quit the Logitech profiler you get with the G27. So obviously there was a clash. I don't think I had to do that before, but it solved my issue. Works a treat. It does some other annoying things if they weren't annoying. If you change, for example, graphics settings, anything that involves any part of the game to be reload, if you tab out of the game into Windows or anything like that, the plugin stops working. You can still use your wheel, but you go back to naked force feedback, as it were. And I discovered that if you've got the console enabled, which looks like this, if you can do this by hitting the tilde key, be aware that once you've got that console open, none of your inputs work into the game. So always best to be not moving or on the straight road when you open that. If you've got that open, enabled, you can type in SDK reload, and that will do what it says on the tin, reload the plugin, and away you go. So it's lucky I found that SDK reload thing. If you haven't got that console, I would recommend it. I don't know half the functions. I know the time warp function, which enables you to slow down or speed up time, which is handy, and the SDK reload. They're the two functions I know, but there's loads of functions. I think you can do teleport and all sorts of things, but I've never really been bothered to look into it, to be fair. But the game stock doesn't come with that enabled. You have to tell the game that you want that loading, and I think it's a very long time since I've done this. It's in the game's config file, config.ini, which probably sits, I'd have said, where the executable is. If it's not there, it'll be in your EuroTruck folder where the mods are, I think, where which is my documents, Euro Truck Simulator. It'll be in there. It's in one of those two locations, and there's something, I think it might be called Developer Console. If you've not got it, it'll say 0. If you want it, just stick in a 1, and don't forget to save it, of course. Talking of saving things, don't listen to anything I say. I could break your game, but the key thing to remember is listen to this bit, back up. If you're going to modify something, make sure you've got a backup. It's alright with the force feedback plugin because it doesn't modify any of the game files, but if you're going to fiddle around with various files, yeah, make a backup. It's pretty easy. It saves no end of time if something goes wrong or you're not happy with the results. I wish I listened to my advice. It saved me a lot of time, but anyway, if you don't know whether you've got the developer console enabled, hit the tilde key, which is just above the tab key, or on my keyboard, directly beneath the first key beneath escape on the keyboard, just to the left of the 1 key. Hit that, nothing happens, not got developer console enabled. So yeah, apologies if that's bored you to death, all that waffle. It's probably been quite hard to follow because my brain seems to be working faster than my mouth at the moment. I know, it doesn't seem possible. There it is. Well, this is typical UK drivers. Look, sat in the middle lane for ages. I'm going to gloss over the fact that I was technically breaking UK laws by being in the outside lane in a heavy goods vehicle. Oh yeah, and speeding and all this malarkey, but yeah, I don't know. It's nice to see the AI is very realistic though. It's actually now, I'm going to use the word illegal to lane hog, to dwell in a certain lane unnecessarily for a long period of time. There are some people who believe that the inside lane, it used to be called the inside lane, it used to be called the slow lane, it is now officially called lane 1, is for HGVs only, or caravans or trailers and just slow stuff, which is I think why they renamed it to lane 1, to try and remove the idea in people's brains that it's only for slow vehicles. But not far now, in fact 10 miles, 17 minutes. First refreshed impressions of this truck. I quite like it. I could drive this a lot. No, I think I'll certainly keep it. And I'll stick some agency drivers in there, because like I say, 10 grand, pretty much for about 15 grand you can get a driver and a source of income on the road. So that's quite useful. Actually, I'm looking at it. My the amount of money I've got in the bank seems to be going up quite wonderfully. I don't think well, I might go up to 10 drivers. I don't know. I don't want to go more than that, really. I mean, I've been up 130 odd something. 130 drivers is the max. I think it's over 100. I'm sure it is. I've had the full complement of drivers anyway in the past, and yeah, you have lots more money, but you end up with more money than you can spend. And one of the main reasons for doing hauls is, you know, it's all enjoyment and stuff, but you sort of end up with too much money. I do anyway, but I found it kind of slightly detracted away from the enjoyment when I got loads of money. Wow, that looks like a pretty cool load there with a crane. This is terrible driving. So much for giving you the outside shot in the daylight. I do apologise. I'm going to cheat now though and do it West Ham. It's actually quite bright. I actually find this, I don't know, is it just me, but I find this really easy to reverse like this. He says as it completely mucks it up. It does sound nice, this truck. It's not exactly brilliant parking, but there we go. Excellent, yes, it didn't crash. Quite fuel efficient for the weight. bad at all. Wow, feels sprightly now at chrome though. Looks beautiful. Very much looking forward to the next mod. It will be long, I think, is the key word. Long and in a Volvo. So please stay tuned to see what that's all about. I imagine a large amount of crashing will occur. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Please hit like. Please share. Please leave a comment below if there's any mods you want me to check out. And above all, drive safe.